Hi guys, JT here, and I'm bringing you my 7 choices in this month's Fanatical Platinum Collection, August 2022. Just know that these are my personal picks, and I'll walk you through what they are and why they are worth picking up. So let's get into it. Choice number 1, Shadow Tactics, Blades of the Shogun, Aiko's choice. The standalone expansion to the 2016 game. This expansion brings with it 3 new infiltration levels and 3 smaller interlude levels, while giving you expanded stories to the base game. Return back to the Edo period of Japan as you sneak, slash, and stalk your way through various outposts and fortresses. If you think the original game was hard, Aiko's choice will give you a run for your money because it is even more challenging. It is also recommended that you play the 2016 game first, as this will give you some idea as to how the game works. As per the base game, you get to utilize the unique abilities of each of your party members to complete your missions, and you have to think about how each character can complement one another. Just to throw you into the mixer, some missions force you to only use select party members, so one strategy you had in the last mission may not be usable if a particular party member is not present. The game is also pretty long for an expansion, with each infiltration mission easily lasting about 3 hours, and interlude missions lasting about 20 minutes. So if you have some gluttony for punishment and wanting to try your hands at being a sneaky ninja, then Shadow Tactics Blades of the Shogun, Aiko's choice, is a great pick. Choice number 2, The Evil Within. A survival horror action game created by Shinji Mikami, the great mind behind the hit Resident Evil game, Resident Evil 4. You play as Sebastian Castellanos, a detective that has been put on a mass murder case at Beacon Mental Hospital with his partner Joseph Oda and a junior detective Julie Kidman. However, things don't go to plan as you are thrown into a distorted world of horrors that will make you question what's reality and what's not. You really have to play the game to discover how crazy the world could be. If you've played Resident Evil 4, you will know that it is a game that is heavily focused on action, peppered with some survival horror elements. The Evil Within is an action game, but the survival horror elements have been dialed up significantly, as you try to save up every bullet and use your resources carefully. Thankfully, you can sneak up on enemies and execute them, but it is not always an easy task to do, as you are murdering one of its monsters, another monster might see you and start pursuing you to stab your guts out. However, if you're struggling, you can always reduce the difficulty settings, but this makes the whole game quite trivial, so I'd recommend not switching it up to easy. The story is ambitious with some great set pieces. Some iconic monsters are memorable, like the man with a safe lockbox for a head. So if you're wanting to experience an even scarier Resident Evil 4, I would highly recommend this game. Choice number 3, Death Road to Canada. A randomly generated road trip simulator where you are trying to escape America, which has been overrun by zombies, by going to Canada. However, along the way there, you will need essential resources like food and fuel, among other resources that can be collected by exploring areas along your way, while recruiting new members into your party. One of the great features of this game is that you can create characters from TV shows, so you can have Rick Grimes and Walter White teaming up to survive this deadly road trip. Don't grow too attached to them though, as your characters will die quite frequently. While dealing with depleting resources, you also have to deal with the ever-growing zombie horde, so you will be skull-smashing or shooting your way through the undead. They aren't pushovers either, as you can easily be outnumbered and be eaten alive by the hungry, flesh-eating zombies. If things get a bit too stressful, you can bring a co-op partner along to smash skulls together. Another aspect of this game is the random RPG elements while on the road, where you are presented with choices to random events, and these choices will produce a random outcome, making this game slightly unpredictable. So if you're into a zombie game that is easy to get into and highly addictive with a co-op partner, then Death Road to Canada is a great pick. Choice number 4, Children of Morta. An action roguelite RPG game that pits you and your family of warriors against God. God has corrupted the world, and it is up to you and your family to find out how to stop this God. You do that by hacking and slashing the variety of beasts unleashed upon the world. The world is procedurally generated, and like popular roguelites, you fight through dungeons, hacking and slashing your way through hordes and hordes of monsters, with a boss to face at the end of each dungeon. Then upgrade your gear in the hub. About you and your family. Each member of your family has their own skills, which you can level up, and each of them control differently from each other, keeping the gameplay fresh. In fact, the game encourages you to switch to different members of the family, as your family members can get fatigued after a run. This game is definitely more fun with a second player, playing as another member of the family, as your skills can synergize very well with each other, creating some very interesting combinations of attacks. Children of Morta is definitely a game to play, preferably with a friend, if you're into an interesting premise and slicing through hordes of monsters while upgrading your characters. Choice number 5. Frostpunk. A city building survival game that puts you in the shoes of the ruler of the last city on Earth. The year is 1886, and the Earth and humanity has been ended by a new ice age. You're the ruler of the last society on Earth with access to the only steam-powered furnace which keeps everybody around it warm. Your job is to make sure that the furnace keeps burning, and to do that you need to enlist the help of your people to collect resources from the cold, frozen world and bring them back to your city. You can then use these resources to continue powering your furnace, building a variety of facilities for your people and advanced technology. However, things aren't as easy as it seems, as you will have to make some very difficult decisions like putting children to work as you need more hands on the ground, or deciding to treat patients which will use up more valuable resources, or just decide to amputate them and save the resources for other things, but at the same time reducing their happiness. Depending on your decisions, your people will either be hopeful or angry, which will affect how the game goes for you. And decisions that you've made that may seem unimportant at first could come back to bite you in the future, if you're not careful. This dynamic societal AI and lack of resources puts an interesting spin on the city building genre. If you're into city building with some interesting politics and survival elements, then Frostpunk is one to pick up. Choice number 6. Moonlighter. An action RPG game that is partly a shopkeeper simulator game and a roguelike. You play as Will, a shopkeeper during the day and monster-killing loot collector at night. During the day, you will tend to your shop, where you sell various items, and at night, you venture out into the various caves to collect loot to sell at your shop. Both parts of the game play very differently from each other. Your day job as a shopkeeper will see you restocking items, attending to the till before your customers leave, setting prices, selling, and making sure you maximize your profit while looking out for thieves. Money you've made can be used to upgrade your shop, allowing you to stock even more items, or spend them on new equipment for your night adventures. When night comes, you pack your new equipment and venture back into the caves to kill more monsters, collect more loot to sell at your shop. Each of these dungeons will have a boss in the end, which you can kill to gain better loot, which you can also sell. It is an interesting blend of shopkeeping simulation and roguelike, and it is worth experiencing in this bundle. Choice number 7. Machinarium. A puzzle point-and-click adventure game where you play as Joseph, a robot who has been thrown into the scrapyard behind the city, and your job is to get out of there and back to the city. Joseph knows what has happened and why he must get back to the city, but you don't, as Joseph doesn't speak. In fact, none of the robots speak in this game. A lot of the story is told through speech bubble animation, which gives you some idea of what's going on. Along your adventure, you will be confronted with a variety of puzzles which you need to solve, and as you progress through the story, more and more information is given to you as to why Joseph was thrown to the scrapyard and by whom. You will usually be given a vague tip to the puzzle in hand, but it is never clear and you are to figure it out on your own. It is a point-and-click adventure game, but you need to walk Joseph close to objects to interact with them, which brings another layer of interactivity to this game. If the puzzle gets too hard for you, there is an in-game walkthrough which you can watch, but you have to finish a minigame to get to it. This game is an interesting puzzle point-and-click game with an even more interesting hand-painted look and world, and I would recommend picking this up in this bundle. And that's all folks, did you agree with these picks? What would you pick? Let me know in the comments below. I'll see you guys in the next video.